What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RC's Gateway to Comics. Today we are going to talk about how you can write foreshadowing in your story. And whenever it comes to writing foreshadowing, I have had several ways that I have written it in my stories. And sometimes it can quite easily stick out, and other times it's very subtle. Now, let's first start with the more obvious way of doing it. Now, whenever it comes to obvious foreshadowing, you can do something like having your character have a vision, or maybe they look into the future and it's not quite clear, but there are some hints as to what will go down. Those are obvious ways of foreshadowing because it's much more in your face. It's very obvious. And there's very little to be interpreted about what will be happening. And whenever it came to me writing that sort of thing, I did choose to make it be sort of more based in the magical side of my stories, the Red Sky series. And I had the main characters go and see a magical creature, or a magic user, I should say, because there's magic users and magical creatures in my stories. And I had them sort of have a vision of the timeline of what's going on in these stories, but it's not outright explained to the characters. They have a brief glimpse of certain sections of the story, but it's not explained to them. They're meant to forge their own path forward, but they don't know how to get to those points. And whenever the foreshadowing happens that way, it leaves it a mystery for both the reader and also for the characters, because neither of them know how this is going to happen, and there's a lot of different options for how it can happen, because everything from point A to point B is a mystery. How they get to that end point is not known to them. Someone could die, someone could be resurrected, something completely unnatural could happen. I don't know, like a hedgehog could be rolling down the street and puncture a tire, and then it could end up being the end goal. You don't really know. You don't know as the reader, and your characters don't know. So the mystery comes in the lead up to the end point of that foreshadowing. Now, the more subtle way of foreshadowing things is whenever you don't really draw attention to it. And there's a plot point in my stories that I foreshadow in the first book, and there's not a payoff to it until the fourth book. There's actually 2 points that I foreshadow in the first book that aren't paid off until the fourth book. And the entire time, if you actually catch it, because it is subtle enough to be that way, then the mystery aspect comes whenever you're asking, what is the end goal for this foreshadowing? It's not the midway point. It is, what is this foreshadowing? And a lot of times it can be just a quick sentence, or it can be an entire sequence. There is, do I want to get into it? Yes, because it's not actually like, it's still a mystery. In the first book, whenever the pirates reach their destination for the map that they're following, they encounter, or some of the pirates encounter, a ship that is glowing green, and it has a bunch of what they think are spirits with glowing white eyes. And throughout the entirety of the rest of A Red Sky is Upon Us, A Red Sky is Fallen, A Red Sky Rising, you do not know what that ship is. It doesn't appear again until Dawn of a Red Sky. That's the fourth book. And whenever you find out what that ship is, then that mystery is lifted. But a whole new mystery is added because you don't know what that ship can do. Now, the good thing about this is that attention is not really called to it. So you can read that section and you may completely forget about it. But whenever you get to that point later on, then you may remember that bit of foreshadowing, and it will mean a whole lot more to you because you're putting these two bits of the story together in your mind. So you are answering the mystery that you had set up for yourself whenever you read this first bit. And I feel like that is probably the more effective way of foreshadowing things, because you're allowing the reader to make assumptions and to form their own mysteries whenever it comes to what to expect later on down the line, and it makes them more intrigued into what you are going to put on the page to answer that mystery, rather than having an end goal already in mind and an ending point and just trying to figure out what's going to happen to get to that. Instead, having the end point be the mystery is, I think, the more effective way of creating foreshadowing. And it's personally my favorite way. What are your thoughts on writing foreshadowing into your books? I'm curious to hear which one you prefer, if you prefer the more subtle way or if you prefer the more direct way. Let me know down in the comments down below. Have you done foreshadowing in your stories? Let me know that as well. Or don't, and just let me figure it out for myself. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below, comment, and also subscribe to the channel so we can continue to bring you more videos just like this. Also, if you enjoy pirate fiction and my talking about foreshadowing has intrigued you, then check out the Red Sky series. It's a 5-book-long series about the pirate captain named Riggs and his crew of the Red Sky as they set out to become the most notorious pirates to sail the seas. All the while, Riggs is trying to win the heart of Julia Hammond, the daughter of a Commodore. I hope you guys enjoyed reading it just as much as I enjoyed writing it. They're all available on Amazon and Kindle, and I hope you do go and check them out. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace out.